So here we are in our group meeting. Rob and I run a group meeting with Jonathan Taylor, who's sitting over there. Hello, Jonathan.
Hello.
And this is a meeting we have once a week with our research, our graduate students. And we're gonna say hello to some of them, and you're gonna see how excited they are about the research that they do.
Hi. Well, I guess I'm Will. I guess to me, one of the most exciting things about being in statistics is that it just applies to so many different substantive fields. So anything you might be interested in, from sports to biology to physics to, finance, there's probably some question that you'll want to ask eventually, and if you've got data to ask that question, then you need to use statistics. So especially being at a university, we get to talk to really smart computer scientists and really smart political scientists and really smart biologists, and play a helpful role in what they're doing pretty often.
Hey, I'm Sam. I'm a graduate student in statistics. One thing that really excites me about statistics is that we live in a world where we kind of have more and more data available to ourselves. People are walking around wearing these bracelets that track every step they take, they monitor their sleep. And so now we kind of have more data than we know what to do with, just terabytes of data sitting around on hard drives, and statistics and machine learning gives us a chance to try and understand that data.
Hi, I'm Nadine. So I decided to get into statistical learning after working at a startup that were working in DNA analysis. And so they were trying to find SNPs and structural variations in the DNA. And that kind of made me realize how important the problems are, the problems that are solved by statistical learning are. And it also made me realize how much data there is and how important it is to develop methods that are very fast and very accurate at the same time in order to analyze all that data. So this is why I decided to get into grad school in statistical learning.
Statistics and data science has become really popular. And so we've even got some converts in our group. And so we've got Christo over here, who's a convert from computer science.
Yeah, I'm kind of jointly working with the computer science and statistics department, and that's one of the things I really love about stats, is that you can get as theoretical as you want mathematically, but at the end of the day, you can implement this on a computer, and even minute little things that you might not think would make a difference do, and you can see this with actual data and actual applications. It's really awesome.
Christo, didn't you work on some capture data recently?
Yeah. We actually showed that using essentially regression, you could actually beat what humans can do in terms of understanding audio captures, which is pretty remarkable, and that had some profound implications for a number of security systems. It pretty much made everyone change their audio capture schemes.
Hi, I'm Dennis. One of the projects that really interests me right now is I'm interested in using statistics to study different sort of educational interventions in the classroom. So conducting experiments in actual Stanford classrooms to test hypotheses about whether whether online homework will help students learn, or whether peer grading can help students learn.
When I was looking at PhD programs, I was actually deciding between doing neuroscience and computer science and stats, and one of my big goals was, at that time, was how do we tackle this question of what is the sort of algorithm behind the brain? And it's a little naive just to say, oh, statistics, directly applies to what the brain is doing, but surely, if you think about how we're trying to make sense of the world statistically, there must be something we can learn from that about what the brain might be doing as well to make sense of everything we're doing in a very noisy world. So I think that's a very interesting motivation to solve one of the greatest mysteries of our time.
I'm actually a student in neuroscience. I was lucky enough to do a master's in statistics here at Stanford, and worked with Jonathan analyzing whole brain human fMRI analysis, and now I'm working with Carl Deisroth imaging thousands of neurons in behaving animals. And so both of these situations obviously afford a lot of data that's quite complicated, and we still, in biology, don't really know how to make sense of it. So being able to have relationships with departments like statistics, like sit in on the meetings and learn things is really, and collaborate with them, it's incredibly useful and very enjoyable.
I think one of the core things that fascinates me about statistics is that, especially in, well, it's always been true in the world, but it's increasingly true that we have all of this information in the world. It comes in the form of data, but information isn't the same thing as knowledge. And one of the things that our brains are really good at is taking in information from all these different sources and turning it into actual actionable insights. And in statistics, we're not doing things the same way as your brain does them, but I think that we're kind of trying to figure out the same thing, which is how do we go from information to knowledge?
Another good thing that our brains are at doing is deceiving ourselves. So, so seeing patterns in noise, for example, I think that's called apophenia or something. There's a Wikipedia article. And I think one of the important things about statistics is it helps us to avoid deceiving ourselves when we're trying to answer important questions about complicated issues.
Hi, I'm Naftali. I'm a second-year PhD in statistics, and the thing I really like about statistics is if you look at the spectrum of academic fields, on one side you have fields like mathematics that are super rigorous. Everything they know with complete certainty because they've proved it. But unfortunately, I think the things that they prove theorems about don't have as many practical applications as you'd like. So they know everything there is to know about a billion groups, say, but it doesn't, you can't go and take that to the bank, so to speak. On the other end of the spectrum, you have fields like economics, sociology, philosophy that ask really, really important questions. So what should the Fed do this quarter that affects literally billions of people in the world? Or what is the meaning of life in philosophy? But unfortunately, they don't know the things that they know in those fields with very much certainty at all. In philosophy, specifically, they've been arguing about what the meaning of life is for 2,000 years. So the thing I like about statistics is that we have the rigor of mathematics, but we also talk about very important questions. So statistics is used in medicine, in the tech community, in the sciences, in the social sciences as well. We answer important questions, but the things that we know in statistics, we also prove theorems about, and we know these things with a lot of certainty.